Tirtha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha Tirtha Om Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha Tirtha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha Tirtha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha. Okay, Buddha taught, the Buddha at one point, he was passing by a rice field. Then he stopped there, and the monks, the followers, they were around him. Then the Buddha pointed to one of the rice seedlings, and then taught what later came to be known as the rice seedling sutra. Rice seedling sutra, or in Sanskrit, Salistamba Sutra. So there, what the Buddha taught was that pointed to the rice seedling and said, "Whosoever sees dependent origination will see the reality, see the dharma, and whosoever sees the dharma will see the Buddha." Okay, let me see this again. Whosoever sees dependent origination will see the dharma, and whosoever sees the dharma will see the Buddha. And the next set, the Buddha said, this first part. The second set, the Buddha said, because this exists, that exists, because that is produced, because this is produced, that is produced. Number 2. Number 3, because of ignorance, the karmas are accumulated. Because of the karmas, the consciousness arises. And then the 12 links of dependent origination. Which page? 12 links of dependent. There's the painting. Was the end? Page 3 is not there? Okay. Never mind. So then the 12 links of dependent origination was indicated. 12 links, meaning, say the first the ignorance. Because of ignorance, contaminant karmas arise. Because of contaminant karmas, consciousness arise. Because of consciousness, name and form arise. Because of name and form, the sources arise. Because of the sources, the contact arises. Because of the contact, the feelings arises. Because of the feeling, the grasping arises. Because of the grasping, then the craving arises. Because of the craving, the grasping, then the becoming arises. Because of the becoming, the birth arises. Because of birth, the aging and death arises. So the 12 links. And because of the aging and death, lamentation, anguish, the grief, and so forth arise. This is what the Buddha. Okay, let me say this again. First, the Buddha taught, whosoever sees dependent origination will see the Dharma. Whosoever sees the Dharma will see the Buddha. Number 1. Number 2, because this exists, that exists. Because this is produced, that is produced. Number 2. Number 3, Because of ignorance, contaminant karmas. Don't worry about all these 12 links. When we get time, we'll go through these 12 links later on. 12 links, if we get time. Huh?
English books, it's there. Only
yes. Yes. Okay, so if we get time, we'll go through this. I'll explain this. So because of the consciousness, the ignorance, the contaminant karmas arise. Because of contaminant karmas, consciousness arises. Because of consciousness, name and form arises. Because of name and form, the sources arise. Because of the sources, the contact arises. Because of the contact, the feeling arises. Because of feeling, the craving arises. Because of craving, the grasping arises. Because of grasping, birth arises. No, becoming arises. Because of the becoming, the birth arises. Because of birth, aging and death arises. Because of aging and death, lamentation, the grief, the guilt, and all these, the mental turbulence, mental sadness arise. So this is what the Buddha said. Then finally the Buddha said, because the ignorance stops, because the ignorance ceases, the contaminant karma ceases. The first round was, because the ignorance arises, the contaminant karma arises, the 12 links arise. Now the next one is, if you're able to stop the ignorance, then contaminant karmas will stop, because of which the consciousness will stop, because of which the name and form stops, because of which the sources stop, because of which the content stops, because of which the feeling stops, because of which the craving, grasping, becoming, birth, aging, death. So all these 12 stops, and because of the 12 things stop, the lamentation, the grief, anguish, all will stop. This is what the Buddha said. Okay, now we have to understand all these things. The first one, where the Buddha said, whoever sees dependent origination will see the Dharma, and whoever sees the Dharma will see the Buddha. So here, dependent origination. First, what does it mean by dependent origination? In fact, in this book, in French we don't have it yet, but in the English version we have it. The sutra, Salistamba Sutra, is given there, and then what we said, all these detailed explanations were given there. And in fact, for the explanation, what happened was that at one point, Shariputra, the Buddha Shakyamuni, was presiding on another occasion. Then Shariputra was following the Bodhisattva Maitreya. Shariputra was following Ajahn Maitreya. Buddha Shakyamuni was the preceding. Then Shariputra asked Ajahn Maitreya, Venerable Ajahn Maitreya, do you remember that at one point the Buddha Shakyamuni stopped by the rice field, and then on the set, then taught that whosoever sees dependent origination will see the Dharma, whosoever sees the Dharma will see the Buddha. Venerable Ajahn Maitreya, do you remember this? Then the Venerable Ajahn Maitreya said yes. Then Shariputra asked more questions. Ajahn Maitreya, when the Buddha said whosoever sees dependent origination will see the Dharma, what the Buddha was actually indicating by dependent origination? What did he mean by dependent origination? What did he mean by Dharma? What did he mean by Buddha? Right? Okay, so this is the question asked in the sutra. It's beautiful, the sutra, Salistamba Sutra, Rasism Sutra. Okay, so here dependent origination. What does it mean by dependent origination? When the Buddha said, whoever sees dependent origination will see the Dharma. Dependent origination, His Holiness the Dalai Lama explained this on three different levels of dependent origination. One, dependent origination of cause-effect. Dependent origination of the results, dependence on the causes. Dependent origination of the results, dependence on the causes. Number one. Number two, dependent origination of the wholes, dependence on the parts. The whole and the parts. Dependent origination of the wholes, dependence on the parts. Number 2. Number 3, parts, P-A-R-T-S, parts. Number 3, dependent origination of the dependence on mere mental designation. Dependent origination of the dependence on the mere mental designation. 3. Okay, so these 3 must be in this order. In this order, it is put in this particular sequence in the order of progressively becoming subtler. In the order of progressively becoming subtler. The first one is gross, second one is subtler, and third one is the subtlest. This is the order that we need to know. The first one, dependent origination, in fact, the point is that if we see the dependent origination in these 3 levels, then all our problems are bound to be stopped. All our problems, somehow they're bound to be stopped. All our problems are all because of not seeing the dependent origination in these 3 levels. Even the first level, if you realize the dependent origination on the first level, then many of our problems, unnecessary problems, will stop. Right? Okay. The first level of dependent origination is where that everything that is composite, impermanent phenomena, composite phenomena, that should necessarily come into being, but depends on the preceding causes. Right? Everything comes into being. Everything meaning all composite phenomena should come to being, but depends on the preceding causes. Okay, for this, I like to just inquire, and what I want to learn from you, right? Okay, how many of you agree with me? How many of you agree with me? I'm going to make a statement, and you correct me if I'm wrong, and you just approve if I'm correct. My statement is: everything is impermanent. Everything is impermanent. Yes? No? Okay. How many of you say yes, everything is permanent? Yes. What you said is correct. Oh, sorry. Everything is impermanent. Yes, everything is permanent. Yes. How many agree with me? Everything is impermanent. Raise your hands. Everything is impermanent. Everything is impermanent. Raise your hands. Who agree with me? Everything is permanent. Huh? Okay, now the next. Everything is not impermanent, raise hands. Everything is not impermanent. Okay, those who said that everything is not impermanent, what made you to say that everything is not impermanent? Is there anyone who likes to defend your position? What makes you think that everything is not impermanent? Anyone? Huh?
Something like space.
Space. Okay, space. Space. Okay, space. Which space? Composite space? Which space?
Non-composé.
Huh?
Non-composé.
Non-composite space. Composite space is permanent. Composite space is permanent or impermanent?
Impermanent.
Impermanent. Non-composite spaces?
Impermanent.
Non-composite space is permanent. Impermanent.
Permanent.
Oh, non-composite space is permanent. Okay. Wow, it's very interesting. Now tell me, what do you understand by non-composite space? Anyone? Anyone? Raise your hands. 1, 2. Anyone else? Phrase 3. Martin. Okay, Mary. Yes.
L'espace incomposé, c'est l'espace qui n'a pas de cause et de conditions pour exister.
This space, which is uncomposed, is not composed by causes and conditions in order to exist.
I see. Okay. The non-composite space is non-composite in the sense that it is not composed of causes and conditions. Is this what you're saying? Very good.
Ouais, à peu près. Ouais, non. C'est ça que j'ai dit.
More or less.
Okay, more or less.
C'est ça
She says it's exactly what it is.
Okay, it's exactly. Okay, now, okay, that's fine. So, my question is, my question, there can be two questions. One is, in what way the non-composite space is not impermanent? One question. This is answer given. My more precise question would be, what exactly do you understand by, what does that mean by non-composite space? What is that? Where is it? Where is the non-composite space? This is my question. Anyone else? Nico, I'm not seeing his face. Okay, Virginia?
It's the space between two phenomena that comes
Okay, the space between the two phenomena, right? Okay. Anyone else? The space between you and me, right? Which allows things to move. Okay. Okay. Let us explore. This is very important. Yes. The tune to Nicola. The first.
It's a space that pervades everywhere.
The space which spreads everywhere. Everywhere. Do you agree with what Virginia said? No.
Because in the objects too, there is space. There is this type of space.
In the object.
Space.
In the object also, this is. So this is exactly what Virginia is saying. Even within the object, say for example, say this mug. This mug seems to be solid, but inside there's a space, right? Inside space that allows you to free movement. You can put water in it. You're getting it? So this is what Virginia is saying.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that.
Huh?
I'm not saying that.
You are saying that space that spreads everywhere.
Yeah, but it's pervading.
Huh? Okay, in other words, what Nicola is saying, that the space which is spreads everywhere. This is what he's saying. Okay, anyone else? Yes, Nicola.
I think one example would be the absence of obstruction between Capucine and I.
Okay, absence of obstruction. Where is it?
Between Capucine and I, there is no obstruction. So there is an absence of obstruction. It's empty of obstruction between Capucine and I.
Okay, the empty of obstruction. So what I'm seeing, is this the space?
Yes,
This space that I'm seeing, this is the, what do you call it, the non-composite space? Is this empty of obstruction? Yes?
Yes, there is no obstruction there.
Yeah, there's no obstruction, right? So this space that I'm seeing between you and I, is this the non-composite space?
I don't think you can really see it. Anyway, I don't know.
Yes, Maria.
Je pense que ça doit être l'espace qui permet au phénomène d'apparaître.
Phénomène, n'importe quel type de phénomène?
Oui, n'importe quel type qui permet au phénomène d'apparaître et d'apparaître.
The space allows any kind of phenomenon to arise, to appear.
Okay, this is the space which Virginia said, where you can freely move, right? Okay, what is this? Okay, how many of you said that non-composite space is permanent? Raise your hands. How many of you said non-composite space is permanent? You have to prove that, right? Don't just raise your hands. You have to prove that. Right? Okay, so far failed. Anyone? How? Okay, first, what exactly is this non-composite space? To say the non-composite space is permanent is the second question. First question is, where can I find the non-composite space? Where can I find it? Yes, Martin.
I think we should say it's infinite, not it's impermanent.
Okay, so non-composite space is infinite. Non-composite space is not permanent. Is it permanent?
I don't know about permanence, but I think it's
Infinite. Okay. So what exactly is non-composite space? Anyone? Yes, Kecha?
Space illimité, qui est non produit, qui est sans cessation, c'est ça la permanence. C'est l'espace qu'on peut imaginer au-delà des nuages, au-delà de tout ça.
L'espace du cosmos.
Le cosmos fait partie de l'espace, ça fait peut-être ça.
This space, which is infinite, has no beginning, no end, on this space that pervades everywhere, even in the cosmos, in the universe.
Exactly. So that is the composite space or non-composite space?
Il est non composé, puisqu'il est infini, il est
Non-composite. I see. Is there something which we can say in the night when you look at the sky, you see that big space?
I can see, but
You can see it, right?
I can imagine, because beside the
Yes, you can imagine it, and you can also see it.
Yes.
You can also see that, right? Okay, what you see is always what you see. If your perception is valid, what you see is always the impermanent phenomena. Right?
Do we speak about eye consciousness or this?
Okay, so in France there is no non-composite space. Because nobody can posit that. Anyone? Yes.
It's a non-affirming negation, the mere absence of obstructive contact.
Where is it?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. This is non-composite space? Okay, which I can see?
We cannot see that. It's implicit.
No, we cannot see this.
It's implicitly realized.
No, can we see this? We cannot see this.
Permanent. It's permanent.
No, can we see this?
We cannot.
You cannot see it. So how can we know it exists?
We know implicitly that it exists.
Okay, so it becomes like the what? It becomes like the Kalachakra Center's elephant. Right? You can already see it. It's 2 days. Yeah, it exists. Okay, this is very important. Very important. Many people they say that in Buddhism everything is impermanent. This is not true. Right? This is very important. Keep this in mind. Okay, things are say permanent and impermanent. Okay, so to go into detail, more explanation about this, just somebody should volunteer to ask this question to me again. Who's going to volunteer to ask this question? What exactly is non-composite space? Who's going to volunteer? Anyone else? Okay, first you want to.
What
exactly is non-composite space?
Job done.
Right. What exactly is non-composite space? Right. And how that is permanent? 2 questions. Right. 2 questions. What are the 2 questions? What exactly is non-composite space? And number 2. How is it permanent phenomena? You getting it? Okay, these 2 things, we have to deal with this, and I'm not responsible if on the 7th day I do not explain this or somehow we skip this. I'm not responsible. Who is responsible? Okay, Chris will ask the question. If you don't ask the question, I'm not responsible, right? Okay, so this is hand wash, finish. Right? Okay, now, going back, dependent origination, which has 3 levels, 3 kinds. The first one, dependent origination, cause and effect. So it says that all composite things should necessarily come into being by dependence on the previous causes and conditions. Right? Okay, with this, we keep in mind that there's a little variation between how dependent origination is understood by the different philosophical schools. Okay, on the day 2 we are covering so many materials. I'm so happy. Right? Okay. 4 schools. 4 philosophical schools, Buddhist philosophy schools. What are they? Vaibhashika, Sautantrika, Chittamatra, Madhyamika. Very good. The 4 schools. You getting it? Okay, 4 schools. Now, say dependent origination. Do you agree with me? All the 4 schools accept dependent origination. Do you agree with me? All 4 Buddhist schools accept dependent origination. The concept of dependent origination. Answer is yes. Don't forget it. All the 4 schools accept dependent origination. Now, what do you mean by dependent origination? The 4 schools differ. They are not same. What do you mean by dependent origination? The 4 schools would give different answers. Okay. Vaibhashika, Sautantrika, Chittamatra. These 4 schools, these 3 schools, they say that dependent origination means the first level of dependent origination. What's the first level of dependent origination? What is the first level of dependent origination?
Results.
Yes, dependent origination, the results, dependence on the causes. So this is what Vaibhashika, Sautantrika, Chittamatra school, these 3 schools, they say dependent origination means the first dependent origination, not the second and the third. This is the understanding. You getting it? So therefore, from the point of view of Chittamatra school and the lower schools, Chittamatra and the lower schools, for them dependent origination means only the impermanent phenomena. For dependent origination and impermanent phenomena, these 2 are the same for the Chittamatra and lower schools. They don't accept the second and the third level of dependent origination. For them, dependent origin means only the impermanent phenomena, only cause-effect dependent origination. Right? Effects dependence on the causes. Whereas Madhyamikas, the 4th one, Madhyamikas, there are 2. What are the 2 Madhyamikas? Prasangika Madhyamika and Savatantrika Madhyamika. Right? Those of us who are new here, don't worry. Just you make sure that you know these vocabularies, you learn these vocabularies. Right? The 4 schools, Vaibhashika, Sautantrika, Chittamatra, Madhyamika. Madhyamika, there are 2. Prasangika Madhyamika and Savatantrika Madhyamika. Prasangika Madhyamika and Savatantrika. Sava. Vaibhashika and Sautantrika. Sava. Look, these 2 are different. Right? So Madhyamika, we speak about Sava. Sava means the self, autonomous self. Savatantrika Madhyamika. 2 schools. Okay. These 2 schools, 2 Madhyamikas, they accept dependent origination, all 3 levels. All 3 levels. So for them, dependent origination is not confined to impermanent phenomena. It encompasses all phenomena. Okay, this is what we need to keep in mind. So when the Buddha said that whosoever sees dependent origination will see the dharma, right? So here the dependent origination, Buddha referred to the first level, not the second and the third. Not the second and the third. Dependent origination refers to the first level. Whosoever sees the first level of dependent origination, right? Dependent origination, then they will eventually see the dharma. Dharma here, 2. One is the dharma in the form of the Eightfold Noble Path. Eightfold Noble Path. Eightfold Noble Path. And another interpretation is dharma in the form of the ultimate reality. Right? Whosoever sees the dependent origination will see the Eightfold Noble Path, will see the ultimate truth. And whosoever sees the Eightfold Noble Path and ultimate truth will see the Buddha. Will see the Buddha means will become Buddha. You getting it? Will become Buddha. See Buddha here means will realize Buddhahood. Will achieve Buddhahood. Okay. This is what we need to keep in mind. 1. Now the second part, when the Buddha said, because this exists, that exists, because this is produced, that is produced, because of ignorance, contempt karmas arise, and then the 12 links arise. So the following 4, the 3 things. Because this exists, that exists. What is the second? Because this is produced, that is produced. Number 3. Because of ignorance, contempt karma arise. Because contempt karmas, consciousness arise. The 12 links. Okay. So these 3 things, Arya Sangha, he beautifully encapsulated these 3 concepts, these 3 teachings in the form of what is known as the 3 conditions. The 3 conditions. Arya Sangha interpreted these 3 teachings of the Buddha as the 3 conditions. 3 conditions. Okay. First condition, the condition, unwavering condition. Unwavering condition. The first one, unwavering condition. Number 2 is the condition of impermanence. Number 3, the condition of concomitancy, similarity between cause and effect. Condition, the first one is condition, the unwavering condition. Number 2 is, what is number 2? Condition of impermanence. Number 3, condition of concomitancy. Concomitancy. The 3 conditions. The first one, unwavering condition, means that all results must be unwaveringly given rise to by a cause. All results must be given rise to by a cause. There must be a cause. There must be a cause for any result. There must be any cause. There must be a cause. It's not that there is some external agent who miraculously created something. No. Everything, all composite phenomena should necessarily come into being by dependence on their respective causes. There's no, the external permanent entity which decides everything. No, everything is decided by the preceding causes. For example, what is happening today? What is happening today, right? What is happening today was because of yesterday, right? And what is happening, for example, say the house here, the hall here, beautiful hall here, is because of the effort of so many people, Catherine's group, right? And then the displays, they somehow so courageously they brought with the vision of Venerable Elizabeth La, right? So we see that it's the effort of so many people. And then how come that there's already the place there with already this house because somebody else built this house maybe 100 years ago, maybe 50 years ago, right? So you keep going like this. We see that everything is connected to the previous cause, previous cause, previous cause, previous cause. From this we see that there's nothing which really is an external agent there which decides everything for us. It is everything, all composite phenomena must necessarily come into being, but depends on the previous causes. 1. Number 2, what is the number 2? Condition of impermanence. And these causes, the causes which are responsible for giving rise to things, these causes must be impermanent. It's not that there should be a permanent cause. No. There should be a cause in the first place, and their cause must be impermanent cause. Only if the cause changes, then the results will come into being. If the cause never changes, it will never give rise to results. For example, seed. Apple seed. If you keep the seed on my table for 1,000 years, right, without coming in contact with the water, soil and so forth, this seed will remain as a seed all the time. Will never give rise to the effect. So, only if the seed changes, its form, then this shoot can come into being, then the plant can come into being. So therefore the cause must be impermanent. Cause should not be permanent. Number 2. Now not only the cause should be impermanent, there must be a cause. It cannot be causeless production. Number 2, the cause must be impermanent. Not only the cause is impermanent, cause and effect, they must share a common nature, meaning that they must be concomitant. The cause must have the potential to give rise to the effect. For example, you plant an apple seed, you cannot expect mangoes growing out of that, because apple seed does not have the potential to give rise to mango. How many of you know that? Apple seed does not have the potential to give rise to mangoes, right? Okay, you plant an apple seed. Oh, I'm so keen, so in Kalachakra Center, right? I want mangoes. Then you plant the apple seed and expecting mangoes growing out of that. This is a disaster. So if you want mangoes, you have to plant mango seeds, not apple seeds. So the cause and effect must be concomitant. This is number 3. So these 3 are so important. Okay, now the Buddha said, because this exists, that exists. The first line indicates the unwavering condition. Because this exists, that exists. Which means that for the result, there must be a cause. It can never come into being by, say, the random, causelessly. 1. Number 2, Because this is produced, that is produced, meaning that the cause must be impermanent. That cause is produced, because of which the results will be produced. The cause is impermanent, the results will come into being. This is the what? Impermanent condition, number 2. Then number 3, because of the ignorance, contaminated karmas given rise to. Right? Ignorance will never give rise to uncontaminated karmas. Uncontaminated karmas and ignorance, they don't go well. They don't go along well. Right? They don't go along together. Ignorance will only give rise to contaminated karmas, not the uncontaminated karmas. And the uncontaminated karmas will give rise to the contaminated consciousness. Right? So this 12 links, they come into being. They come into being to indicate the third condition. What's the third condition? Condition of concomitancy or the condition of the potentiality. Okay, you can write both. Condition of concomitancy or the condition of the potentiality. Right? Okay, this is very important. With this now, when the Buddha taught that whosoever sees dependent origination will see the Dhamma. Dharma here, connoting 2 things. One is the Eightfold Noble Path and ultimate truth. So, to know the ultimate truth, what we should know is, we should know of the 3 levels of dependent origination, we need to know the 3rd level of dependent origination. What is the 3rd level of dependent origination? Yes. Dependent origination of dependence on mere mental designation. Meaning that everything is coming just by the power of your mind. Nothing is really there from the object. You're getting it? Okay. For this, what we need to know is, okay, for this, what I need to take you to is, say, thus far, yesterday and this morning, we are talking about what? Emptiness, how everything is like illusion, how everything is like a dream. Okay, so we are talking more about the emptiness. Now here, the Buddha is talking about the dependent origination, right? So for that matter, what we have to know is emptiness should not be understood as nothingness. This is so important. Emptiness should not be understood as nothingness. Emptiness should be understood to mean dependent origination. You getting it? Okay. So some of you were present during the Kalachakra Center in Paris, right? So this is what we have to know. This is so important. Emptiness should not be understood as nothingness. Emptiness should be understood as dependent origination. And the dependent origination should be understood as the middle way. Okay. So this, we will actively take part in this discussion. This is very important. Okay, for that, emptiness means dependent origination. Emptiness means dependent origination. Oftentimes, right, there's a tendency for us, say, oftentimes, some people, they hear about emptiness, they think about nothingness. And most of the people, most of the people, almost like 99% of the people, when they study emptiness, initially is fine. Then when they meditate, then when they start getting some inkling of what emptiness is, then there's a tendency for the people to go into nihilism. There's a tendency, right? If that happens, don't worry, right? So for that matter, we need to know this. We need to know this equation. Emptiness means dependent origination, and dependent origin means the middle way. Okay, let's say this again. Emptiness means dependent origination, and dependent origination means the middle way. Okay, the next person will ask you how. You're getting it? How? How emptiness is dependent origination? How dependent origination is the middle way? Okay, first, how emptiness is dependent origination? For this, we need to know 5 points. How emptiness equals dependent origination. 5 points, right? Okay, the first, emptiness. Emptiness, it doesn't mean nothingness. Emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Number 2, emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Okay. Nico, what is who in Spanish?
In French.
In French. In French. Key.
I think in Spanish it's the same.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't matter.
French is
French.
key.
Key. Okay, let's say in English, key in English is who. Okay. How many of you know who? How many of you know who? Huh? Catherine, what is who? Key. Okay. Actually, who is not key? Who is WHO? What is WHO? What is WHO? Anyone? Huh? What is WHO? No idea. Huh? WHO. World Health Organization. You're getting it? So, who? Don't read it as who. Don't read it as key. It should be read as World Health Organization. So, WHO is a short form. It's a short form of World Health Organization. It doesn't mean key. Right? Likewise, emptiness. Don't interpret it as empty, nothing. Right? It is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Emptiness, number 1. Number 2, emptiness does not mean nothingness. Emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. You're getting it? This is extremely important. If you don't know these 5 points, then people can easily trap you, and then you will say that how come that you are Buddhist, right? You are into nihilism, right? Okay. Now, what is number 2? Emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Number 3, emptiness of independent existence means nothing exists independently. You getting it? When we say emptiness of independent existence means nothing exists independently. Number 3, nothing exists independently means number 4. Nothing exists independently means everything exists by. Hey, nothing exists independently means everything exists by dependence. Very good. Number 4 is everything exists. Number 3 is what? Nothing exists independently. Nothing exists independently means number 4. Everything exists by dependence. You getting it? Everything exists by dependence. Number 4. Everything exists by dependence means everything is dependently originated. You getting it? So from this we come to know that emptiness doesn't mean nothingness. Emptiness means dependent origination with these 5 points. Okay, this is how we equate emptiness and dependent origination. Okay, I'll say this again. Okay, I will say this again. Number 1 is emptiness. Number 1 is emptiness. Number 2, what does it mean by emptiness? Emptiness is not nothingness. Number 2, emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Number 2, emptiness of independent existence means number 3, nothing exists independently. Nothing exists independently means number 4, everything exists by dependence. Number 4, everything exists by dependence means everything is dependently originated. Right? So by these 5 points, we come to know that emptiness means dependent origination. You getting it? Okay, first part is done. Emptiness equated with dependent origination. Done. What's number 2?
Dependent origination means middle way.
Dependent origination means the middle way. Number 1 is emptiness means dependent origination. Number 2, dependent origination means the middle way. How? How is dependent origination the middle way? Okay, dependent origination has 2 sides. What are they? Dependence and origination. How many of you agree with me? Dependent origination has 2 sides. Dependence and origination, 2 sides. Yes? No?
Yes.
Good. Now the first one, dependence. The first part, dependence. When you say dependence, what is the opposite of dependence? Independence. When you say dependence, you reject independence. Independence and absolutism mean the same. Independence and absolutism mean the same. So when you say dependence, you reject independence, you reject absolutism, you reject extreme of absolutism. Okay, one. What's the other side? Origination. When you say origination, origination means something comes to origination, something comes to existence. What is the opposite of existence? What is the opposite of existence? Non-existence, nihilism, non-existence. When you say origination, it rejects non-existence. Non-existence and nihilism mean the same. So when you say origination, it rejects extreme of nihilism. Now, dependence, it rejects what? Dependence, it rejects which extreme? Extreme of absolutism. And origination rejects which extreme? Extreme of nihilism. Now, bringing the two together, dependent origination, bringing the two together, you bring them together, you reject the two extremes. Rejecting the two extremes is entering the middle way. So therefore, dependent origination is not nothingness. Dependent origination is the meaning of the middle way. So from this, what we learn is that emptiness means dependent origination, and dependent origination means the middle way. So therefore, emptiness means the middle way. Emptiness is not nihilism. You're getting it? Okay, this is so important. Okay. Now, we go into little technicalities. Little technicalities, right? Okay, we should be introduced to the concept of what is known as entities and isolates. Question? Okay, we have to understand the two concepts. Okay, we have to understand two things. One is entities versus isolates, and positive phenomena and negative phenomena. We have to learn these two things. Without learning these two things, the concept of emptiness becomes extremely vague. Extremely vague, right? If you want to see emptiness very crystal clear, how many want to see emptiness very crystal clear? Right? If you want to see emptiness crystal clear, you can't do it without understanding these two concepts. Entities and isolates, positive and negative phenomena. Without understanding these two concepts, it's impossible, right? Okay. Even if you go to, say, any guru, the guru blesses you, touch your head, you'll be enlightened tomorrow, you will not understand emptiness. Impossible to see emptiness, right? So therefore, this is so important. If you know these things, then you will feel joy to say that I'm following the Buddha's teachings. Without these things, it's so vague, it's so blurry, hazy. Okay, so with this, entities and isolates. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Entities and isolates. Okay, just speak your mind. Don't think that you're philosophers. It's only day 2, right? It's only second day. Don't think that it's 2 years gone. Don't think that you're philosophers, right? Just speak your mind. Okay. What is in my hand? Nothing. What is in my hand?
Blue pen.
Blue pen, right? Okay. How many things are in my hand? 1. Okay. Make sure. What is in my hand? How many things are in my hand? Louder, louder. How many things are in my hand? Okay, don't change your mind. You said 1. Okay, what is that thing in my hand?
Blue pen.
Pen. Blue pen. Pen. Okay, the pen is there. The color of the pen, is it in my hand? Or yes, no? The color of the pen, is it in my hand or not? Not in my hand. The color of the pen is not in my hand. This pen does not have a color?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it's a color. It's a blue in color. So this color, is it in my hand or outside my hand?
Yes.
It's in the pen.
In that my hand, right? In my hand. Okay. The color of the pen, is it a pen?
No.
Color of the pen, is it a pen? Oh, they French. Color of the pen, is it a pen? No, it's not a pen. Color of the pen, it's not a pen, right? Okay. So the color of pen is not a pen. So the color of the pen is different from the pen. Yes? No? If it is not a pen, it should be different from the pen. Yes, it's different. If it is different, it should be more than one. Yes?
No.
If it's different from the pen, then it should be more than one. The color of the pen and the pen. Yeah? There are two things.
No.
One thing. What is that? Oh, but pen of the part of the pen is the color. Color is not the pen. Color is in my hand. Pen is in my hand. Two things are in my hand. So these two are one or two?
One.
One. So the color is the one. The color is the pen. If it's not, then these two are different. Different means more than two, more than one, right? Hey, do you understand what different means? French people? Hey, French people, do you know what different means? Different is more than one, right? Different means more than one. Yes. Now, be louder. Right? Okay. How many things are in my hand? Be louder. What happened? The sound went down. What happened? Huh? Hey, how many things are there? One. Huh? One. One. What is that? Pen, not the color.
Blue pen.
Color of the pen is there in my hand or not? Is there. Color of the pen is one with the pen? Part of the pen. This is not my question. My question is whether it is one with the pen. It is one. So color of the pen is pen. Wow. What happened? Okay, at least if this is what you cannot give if you cannot say how many things are in my hand, 1, 2, if you cannot give the answer, don't go back to your home. Right? Otherwise, your husband, your wife, your mother, your father, they will be so amazed. What happened? They went to Kalachakra Center, now they forgot how many things are there. Right? Okay. How many things are there? Tell me. Hey, how many things are there? Huh? Okay, the very courageous ones, raise your hands. 1. Okay, I'll ask. Okay, now tell me. What is that thing in my hand? Huh? Raise your hand. Somebody. Raise your hand. Who said it? Yes, I'll give the answer. Raise your hand. Okay, please, anyone? Any French? Raise your hand. I'll give the answer. Or say, are you confident? Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes, Chen, you want to give the answer? Yes, Chen. Okay, what is that in my hand?
A blue pen.
Blue pen. The blue color is there in my hand?
Yes.
Color? Yes, I know that. That you don't have to explain to me. I know it so well. So my question to you is, the pen is in my hand? Yes. The color of the pen is in my hand? Yes. Right? Color of the pen is not pen? Yes. Color of pen is different from the pen? Louder. Yes, different from the pen. Different means not one.
They can be one, but they have the same nature. They can have the same nature, but they...
Are this one or different? This is my question.
One.
They are one.
They are one. One means the color of the pen is a pen. And no means it's not one.
This is a...
Okay, now look, this is a problem. You're getting it? There's a problem. This problem cannot be resolved as long as you don't understand the concept of entities and isolates. Only if you understand this concept, then this problem will be resolved. Otherwise, okay, how many things are there? You have to say 2. Pen, color of the pen. And you pick a €1. How many euros are there? You have to say 2. It's only €1 actually. Right? Right? I'm giving you, actually you are giving €1. And you said, I have €2 here. And the shopkeeper will also tell you, give you 1 biscuit, and so I'll give you two biscuits. Right? All these problems are there. Right? And then you go to the shopkeeper, say that there are €2 here. The shopkeeper will think that you are crazy. Right? Okay. So therefore, this problem can be resolved only if you understand what? The concept of the entities and the isolates, without which you cannot understand to solve this problem. 1. Then number 2, more important than this, the clarity of emptiness will come. To identify exactly what emptiness is, this concept is required. To identify exactly what is the non-composite space, you have to understand this concept. Without understanding this concept, you will never understand what exactly is non-composite space. You will never understand what exactly is emptiness. You getting it? This is so important concept. Okay, so with this mind, let's say, okay, what's in my hand? Louder, don't worry, I will not trap you in problem. Right? You think that again he's going to trap us in problem. Right? Okay, what is in my hand? A vase of flower or a flower, right? Let's say flower. Okay, now say the flower is taken away. My mind, my eye consciousness is just looking at this empty space. Then I bring this flower. Wow, there's a flower there. You're getting it? The flower is the object, and my mind is the subject. Very good. The flower is the object, my mind is the subject. Now, when I go to look for things towards the object, you are looking for the entities. When you go towards the subject, you are looking for the isolates. You're getting it? This is so important. When you go towards the object, you are looking for the entities. When you go towards the subject, you are looking for the isolates. So how? Then don't worry, I'll explain this. First, you have to know this. What is meant by entities? What is meant by isolate? When you go towards the object, you are looking for the entities. When you go towards the subject, you are looking for the isolates. Okay, very good. Now with this mind, let's say that, okay, let's say the color of the flower, is it flower? Color of the flower, is it flower? Don't worry. You're still afraid. Color of the flower, is it flower? No, it is not flower. Okay, let's say, now I'm going towards the object. I'm going towards the object. When I go towards the object, I'm looking for what? Entities. Okay. So I'm going towards the object. You ask me, where's the flower? I say, flower is here. I'm going towards the object or I'm going towards the subject? The flower is here. Object or subject? Object. So when you say, where's the flower? I say, this is the flower. Correct, not correct? Okay. Now you ask me, where's the color of the flower? You ask me. It's here. Correct, not correct? Okay. So when I go towards the object, I point to the same object for the reference of the two labels. I pointed to the same object to look for two things. Color of the flower and the flower. I pointed to the same object. When I go towards the object, I point to the same object for the reference of the two labels. Which means that these two labels, from the object, these two are one. From the object, these two are one. So this is known as entity-wise, the flower and the color of the flower. These two are entity-wise the same. Because I pointed to the same object. Where's the flower? It's here. Where's the color of flower? It's here. I pointed to the same object. You're getting it? So when I go towards the object to look for the two things, if I point to the same object, this is known as the two things are entity-wise same. Entity-wise one. You're getting it? Okay. Now tell me. Say Dorji and Dorji's body. These two are entity-wise one or different? Entity-wise one. Where is Dorji? Here. Correct, not correct? Where is Dorji's body? Is here. Correct, not correct? Yes. So when you go towards the object to look for the two things, I point to the same object. When I point to the same object, these two are known as entity-wise the same. You getting it? Okay. Now, now we go towards the isolate. Isolate means we have to go towards object to subject. Subject. How can I go towards the subject? Right? Okay, very simple. Let's say the table. The table in front of me. The table. Okay. Because the subject you have to meditate. Sit up properly. Sit up properly. You have to meditate. So this meditation is very simple meditation. Very special meditation. Usually, meditations I ask people to don't close your eyes. Today is exception. Close your eyes. Right? Today's exception. Close your eyes. Okay. Meditate on table. Meditate on the table in front of me. The table which is in front of me. Meditate on this. Okay. Now open your eyes. Again close your eyes. Now meditate on the top plank of the table. Top plank of the table. Oh yeah, open your eyes and tell me, is there any difference? Is there any difference in your mind when you meditated? Difference? The table, top of the table, any difference in your mind? Yes. How do you say yes? There's difference. Okay, what difference did you see? Just share with us. Anybody? What difference did you notice in your mind? Huh? Yes, Maria.
So when I meditate on the table, I see the top plank and the
legs
of the table. But when I meditate on the top plank, I don't see the legs.
Very good. So in your mind, there's a difference. You're getting it? Top plank is just a flat without the legs. Table means top plank plus the legs. So there's a difference. Any difference that you see in your mind? Any difference you see? The two things are said to be isolated-wise different. You getting it? Isolated-wise different. Okay, now tell me. Say, you and your mind. You and your mind. Are these two entities isolated-wise different or same? You and your mind. Isolated-wise different or same? Huh? Okay, how many say isolated-wise different? How many say isolated-wise same? You and your mind. Or how many say isolated-wise same? Isolated-wise different? Isolated-wise different, you and your mind. Okay, is there anyone who likes to share with us how you and your mind, isolated-wise, these two are different? Anyone? Anyone? How do you explain that these two are isolated-wise different? Anyone? You and your mind. Yes, or Sienna?
You is the body and the mind is the
Very good. You, when you say I or the you, it is constituted of the body and the mind both. Mind both. And when you say the mind, it is the part. And you is the whole. You're getting it? Parts and whole, these two are always isolated-wise different. You're getting it? Parts and whole, one thing that we need to learn is parts and whole. Parts and whole, these are always entity-wise same, isolated-wise different. Entity-wise same, isolated-wise different. Parts and whole. Parts and whole are always, whatever is the part and whole, the relationship is entity-wise same and isolated-wise different. Okay, now tell me, you and your body, entity-wise one or different? Huh? One, very good. Isolated-wise one or different? Different, right? Okay, now, can you give me examples? I need some examples. One example of what is entity-wise different. Give me quick. Now the time I've already got the note. Okay, quick. Give me an example of entity-wise different. Yes, Maria? These two meaning the book and the thermos. These two are entity-wise different. Very good. Anyone else? Very quick. Nico?
The lunch and the dinner.
The lunch and the dinner. Lunch and the dinner. Some people have the lunch and dinner together. Right?
Here the difference.
Brunch. Yes. Breakfast, lunch together, brunch. Right? Right? Okay, any other example, non-controversial examples? Huh? Anyone? Quick. Anti-device 1. Yes, Oceana? Anti-device different. Okay, Nicola and Oceana. Very good. Okay, now I want an example of anti-device same. Quick. Anti-device same. Virginia. I. Virginia said I. This is anti-device 1. Very good. Anyone else? Any other examples? Any other examples? Any other examples? Yes, Nicole?
The lunch and the salad in the lunch.
Okay, the lunch and the salad in the lunch. Very good. These two are anti-device 1. Same, anti-device 1. Anyone else? Yes, Nicola?
The pen and the color of the pen.
Steve. Oh, pen and the color of the pen. Very good. Right? These two are anti-device same. Very good. Okay. Now can we give an example of, say, the isolated device different? Very quick. Isolated device different. Yes.
The pen and the color of the pen.
Pen and the color of the pen. These two isolated device different.
Yes.
Huh? Pen and the color of the pen. Isolated device different?
Yes.
Huh? No. Pen and the color of the pen. Are these two isolated device different?
Yes.
How? Huh? How the pen and the color of the pen is also is different? How? What reasons do we have? Huh?
The pen, you can have the color, but you have a form also, so it's different when you represent.
Very good. You're very good. So, what anosophy? What anosophy is what I said in a very simple line. What did I say? Anything which is a part and a whole. Pen is the whole. It has many parts. Color, form, so forth. Parts and the whole. There was relationship. Isolated-wise. Isolated-wise. Different. Entity-wise. Same. Don't forget it. This is very important thing. You getting it? Okay. Now let us do the next meditation very quick. Because Nico is always giving the example of lunch, saying that I have to stop here. Okay, let's do a quick meditation. Quick. So we are going to study more about the acid. You are not good at acid at the moment, right? Okay, we have to study more of the acid. You meditate, right? Okay, let's meditate on the lunch. Yeah, I think meditate on the lunch. Okay. Now you meditate on the Shela. Meditate on Shela. Hey, meditate. I just asked you to meditate. Don't talk. Meditate on Shela. Meditate on Shela. Okay. Why not meditating? Because I don't know what a shela is. Shela means lunch or food. Right? Okay, now meditate on food. Meditate on food now. Okay, now meditate on shela. Okay, tell me, what's the difference between these two in your thought? What's the difference? What's the difference? No difference. Shela and food, these two are isolated-wise, one is different. Isolated-wise, same. What comes to your mind as identically same, these two are known as isolated-wise, same. You getting it? What comes to your mind, even there's a slight difference, these two are isolated-wise different. You getting it? Don't forget it. Okay, so we'll stop here. Deyata Om Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhi Swaha Paragati Parasangati Bodhiswatyata Omgati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhiswaha. I'll get two prostrations.